Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the board meeting of March 24th. Just a reminder, if there's an emergency, we exit the rear of the building. Please go to your vehicle, but please do not leave the area until so directed by emergency service personnel. Also, this is not a smoking building, so if you must, outside. Please go.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Our first approval tonight is for the board meeting minutes of March 10th, 2014.
Motion to accept is presented.
Mr. Mayor, one change on the minutes. Page 5, there was a blank.
Oh, right.
Eric Rifkin, the last name, R-I-F-K-I-N. And the restaurant, barbecue, B-O-B-B-I-Q-U-E.
And above that was James blank, that's banana. That's
There's no mistake.
Any other additions, deletions, changes?
for James.
A motion to accept is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Bills and treaties.
Okay, bills for the period total $473,487.11. Top 5 bills: New York State Employee Health, $107,185.59 for the monthly premium. Children Skidmore, $62,898.76 for NYMER policies. PSE&G Long Island, $18,984.34 for monthly electric. Eastern Resource, $10,539.23 for landfill. And Russell Reed, $9,089.80 for sludge removal, for a total of $208,697.72.
Motion to accept is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? I have one more, and this is for the contractor's work on the roof. We're going to accept this pending review and clarification by Valsano, Alex Valmonte, to review the work, the work schedule. I would like to get this prepared to be paid, pending his approval. It's for $271,130. Motion to accept. Motion.
Second.
Okay, with conditions. Thank you.
And I do have a few more items.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, budget adjustments to appropriate from surplus for the purchase of the emergency generators from Village Hall and DPW. From surplus $84,500 to the garage equipment and Village Hall equipment for $38,600 and $45,900 respectively.
Motion to accept.
Motion.
Second.
Budget transfers to purchase motor for sailing program from the pool salaries of $7,500 to the equipment line. Motion.
Second. All in favor?
And approval for the general fund to loan the community development fund $64,925.90.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
For the roof, Mr. Mayor, that bill is to be paid to the contractor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I can keep up with myself tonight. All right, our first public hearing is, notice is hereby given that a public hearing be held on Monday, March 24th, 6 p.m., 14 Baker Street, Patchogue, New York, by the Village Board of the Incorporated Village of Patchogue, to consider overriding 2% tax cap as established in General Municipal Law 3-C, copy of which proposal of the laws on file at the office of the village clerk. At said public hearing, anyone will give me the opportunity to be heard.
We have overridden the cap by resolution. I think it's been 3 years now. 3 years, I think there's only 1 year that we actually pierced the cap. And that was, I think, by 1% up to 3%. You do it for the obvious reason. There are two basic reasons. The obvious one is if you have to, position yourself too. But more importantly, when you calculate your 2%, if you make an error in that, let's say for argument's sake, we go to, budget office comes in at 1.85%, goes to Albany, and Albany decides they recalculate it and use it at the point is similar to ours, but maybe refactors the monies as collected. They come in at 2.3%. We will then be penalized for that 0.3%, and they take that away from the next year. So the next year, you'd start at 1.75. So this is done to protect the integrity of what we present. It is not being done so we can pierce the cap. It's being done to protect ourselves against sometimes the inevitable. So this is purely about that. And we'll be setting a public hearing for the budget hearing, which will be April 7th, is what I'm going to present to the board, and where we'll be then presenting the budget. We have now a draft budget available, and that budget will change drastically probably between now and that point. It's just a draft, it's the first one. But what we do with the budget, just a little budget background, is we've sent out to all the department heads, asking for what their needs are. We ask them to stay within the numbers that they had last year, and they'll make a presentation. Over the last 2 weeks, and even since this budget that was printed, there's been adjustments starting to be made, reducing numbers, and in some cases increasing numbers. But it's a work in progress. April 7th, as I will present to the board, I will be presenting the budget at that point. But a motion, comments by the board in terms of the 2% public hearing.
So, it's really by piercing by allowing us to pierce the cap, we're really getting ourselves an insurance policy
That's all it is.
against risks.
Yep.
So if for some reason revenues were a shortfall.
Or it's more the way the calculation is done, because it's a very complicated calculation. There are certain things we're giving you some benefit against, and if you recalculate those numbers not within the same formula as the state does, and they're inaccurate, you're penalized. You can't go back and appeal to them and say, wait a second, we did point this, point zero this instead of point this, it just is a protection. Like I said, in the 3 years we've done it, we've approved it right now, and 2 out of the 3 years we didn't pierce it, and 1 year we did. I think we pierced about 1% at that point.
So, Paul, are there risks on the expense side? I mean, can we get nailed because they changed the healthcare costs or the retirement costs?
Possibly.
So there's a lot of variables that are out of our
Right.
control.
And the issue of the pension costs are the greatest one, because in 2004, we spent $57,000 on pension costs. This year it's $692,000 or $93,000. It's gone up almost $640,000 in 10 years. That is such a variable that changes and is so fluid. So our ability to protect ourselves against some change by the controller's office between now and, I'm pretty sure we have the correct number, and we always go conservative on what we do anyway. We'll add a few dollars into that just to protect ourselves on the budget side also, because you don't know. Government Cuomo's programs on the tax cap, or his programs on his tax cap. Whether we agree or we don't agree, we have to comply. But part of our ability to comply is the ability to protect ourselves. Anything else on the board? Public? Motion to accept is presented?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
I'm going to oppose on that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, second hearing, notice is hereby given that a public hearing be held on Monday, March 24th, 14 Baker Street, Patchogue, New York, by the village of the Incorporated Village of Patchogue to amend section 415-27B of Village Code to clarify the penalty provisions of the parking meter law, a copy of which proposed local laws on file at the office of the village clerk. At said public hearing, any person interested will be given the opportunity to hear.
Mr. Egan, would you please?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees. This is the proposed local laws before you on just editing amendments as proposed by the, after a conference with the village prosecutor and myself as to what the status of the tickets were and what they were seeing as in terms of justice court and to try to smooth the procedures for our code enforcement officers who are enforcing the meter law. These are just changes that, again, they're legal changes that just enhance some of the language that's almost common sense. For instance, we're removing that permit any vehicle, we're actually making it, expanding it to cause, allow, permit, or suffer any vehicle registered in the name of or operated by such person to remain or replace in any parking space. And then it says in any parking meter zone. That second change is just to make it more consistent with the rest of the chapter. That just says controlled or regulated by a parking meter or parking pay station. While the vehicle occupying such parking is already parked beyond the time, I would just say the period of time prescribed or fixed for such parking space is or has expired. And that's the operation of the new meters in the way that they're calculated. You purchase the ticket, you take the ticket with you, as opposed to displaying it or otherwise. And even some of the old meters, the way they turned it, and that meter itself is expired, the meter now sets the time, how long you have in that spot. So that's, it's just clearing up some of the 21st century aspects of the parking meter.
When was this written?
The original was, that's a good question, the original was written in 1962. The meters were a little bit different in 1962 than they were today.
Yeah, they were
Make that most effort. Before my parents were married. Before my mother graduated high school.
Any questions? Any
Keep
questions?
going back, how far you want me
That's
to go?
enough.
Yeah, I think it was fine, I'm nice.
As you all know, we don't see it.
Your mother was in temporary.
Yes.
Any other questions for the village attorney, public? Motion to accept is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor? Okay. Okay, request approval to set a public hearing, 2014-2015 budget, at the indicated date of April 7 at 6 o'clock.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? We will also, on that same evening, at 5 o'clock, be holding a reorganization meeting. So the reorg meeting will be, that's already, was set by last year's reorg. Just, if you put that in the, as a local scribe. Thank you. Reorganization meeting where appointments are made.
What's that thing?
The fifth.
Seven.
Seven.
7. And the reorg is at 5. The swearing of the trustees will be at 5 also, and at 6 will be the budget hearing. A resolution terminating the agreement with Wire Water Inc. for failure to perform. Mr. Eden, please explain.
Okay, this is a procedural requirement. First, I just obligated to ask for the public hearing. Is anyone here from Wire to Water Inc.? Anyone representing Wire to Water? Is there anyone in the hallway? Can you see?
No.
Okay. Thank you. This is one of the two prime contractors for the wastewater treatment plant. It seems like it's been a long time since we closed it out, and it has been. We're now in the process of closing out the bond, the EFC. This is one of the contractors who has not finished his final punch list items. The punch list items are relatively minor, but they still need to be done and have a closeout with the engineers, and we're trying to get the company to do so, and they have not been compliant. The work is completed except for some, again, some remaining punch list items and some warranty information. That information is in the process of being closed out by our engineers. We do have additional funds to close this out, and the purpose of this motion is, under the contract, we had to put put the contractor under notice that we were terminating them, and then they had an opportunity to show cause as to why it should not be terminated. This is the second notice that has gone out under the contract. We have not heard from them, they've not attended the hearing, and so in this case, we're actually going to close out their portion of the contract, so that we're actually going to reduce the amount of the treatment plant for what the balance that we actually owe them.
And what is it, 100?
It's about $100,000. Of the $100,000, there is another $24,000 that is owed to RJ Industries. That was the other contractor that performed some work, and they'll be paid out of that amount. and the rest will be, as far as the village is concerned, legally, under the contract, canceled and no longer owing to Wire and Water.
Therefore, we'll reduce our debt to the Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC,
Ultimately under the bond, correct.
under the bond.
Why do you think they're doing that?
I don't really want to speculate as to why, I don't know, but.
So if they're walking away from,
100 grand.
Maybe they want to business.
They do great,
I don't wanna
they do
speculate.
great work.
because
They-
that's,
they- yeah. Well, we've asked.
We have asked multiple times, if you look at the attachment that's in your file, is my original letter, I referenced a February letter that went before that. You'll also see an email that went in August to them with their punch list items from H2M, requesting a meeting and requesting them to close these items out.
this is something that we're gonna have to, have somebody else.
The engineers are looking at that, but they're very relatively minor items.
So it's not, that it's gonna cost them more than $100,000 to do it?
Definitely not.
They're gonna underbid it?
No, definitely not.
I mean, $600,000 represents work already completed,
Correct.
and just a small amount of work is still to be completed. So it's not even a matter of, we have to go find somebody else to do this.
Brian, what about the warranty? Are we whole with regard to the
The
warranty?
engineers are gonna work on those, and the engineers are looking to close those out themselves.
So we will not have any claim on this company because they will not warranty the work.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Okay.
This doesn't negate any warranty.
No, not, they have to supply certain warranty, manufacturer warranty from the manufacturer, that was one of the punch list items. The engineers are gonna endeavor to close their warranties out themselves.
Directly with
Yeah.
manufacturers. Okay.
And if you look at the, you know, the letter that she just read earlier?
You don't have the other.
There are two attachments, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's all I have.
So the issue comes down to is, they completed their work, they didn't close at the end. EFC, the Environmental Facilities Corporation, is putting pressure on us to close out this totally. The next step is for us to be penalized by the EFC for not closing it out in the timely fashion, so directed by our agreement, so,
It's a balance that we scheduled that we owe them.
yeah.
They have not finalized their last submission for us to pay them. But for us to be able to close the bond and make final payments, we need to do that. So in this case, we're moving to terminate the contract with them.
Okay, motion to accept is presented.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? So carried. Request approval for Village Justice Patricia Romeo to attend the Taking the Bench certification course for the newly elected judges in Albany on March 31st to April 5th, at a cost not to exceed $1,200.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Before we start going around,
This one, you just get one of our successors.
I'm sorry, resolution approving tax grievance recommendations by Councilman Village Assessor. This comes off of a grievance hearing held on in February, and also the work that she did negotiating out with the attorneys and with their attorneys.
Correct. This is submitted to you in your role as the Board of Grievance. In accordance with the grievance night presentations, I have reviewed with the village assessor her recommendations and agree with them.
Motion to accept is presented. Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You know, we're gonna start going around the board this evening, and one of our members is leaving us at the end of this meeting. And, you know, in government and politics and all those other kind of things, the road is normally a windy one and sometimes a rocky one, but many times a very successful one, where things are done and things are accomplished because of the work of many. It's never the work of one, but the work of the entire board. And, like I said, sometimes the road went this way, sometimes it went this way. But a lot of the time, it was tremendously smooth, and I'm tremendously grateful You know, when you go back and you take a look at Copper Beach and the work that you did to make that happen, you know, the work that we did on our space and many of the other projects here in the village, you know, your dedication to the community was evident in the positions you took, whether we agreed or we didn't. You know, I've always said about, you know, loyalty and trust, the things that are both earned, received, driven by the fact that in most cases we agreed on many, many things. So, you know, like I said, the road's going where you want.
Yeah.
Everything
And
is.
appreciate that. It was very rewarding in many different levels, and even though that the road might have been a little windy and bumpy along the way, it was always the debate and it all that got us to a better resolution at the end of it all. You know, through those disagreements, I think it forged a better answer to many of the questions that were presented to this board over the last 10 years. And looking back, I'm quite proud of the achievements of the entire board and my involvement. It's something that I can point to my kids and my grandkids eventually, that I was part of something a little bit bigger than myself, and I appreciate your confidence and your support over the years, and I appreciate the confidence and the support of the residents that elected me to this seat. So it's been, like I said earlier, a very rewarding experience. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And just for the board's note, and I've asked Jerry to continue working on the town hall project. You know, he had made the first contact with the group that's looking for, that just purchased it, and he'll continue working with me on that one. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. I'm looking forward to that and helping guide that project in any way I can to get it through the planning process and get the doors reopened. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Krieger. The ID report. I didn't forget about you, Dennis. I just want to.
Sitting on the back, I thought maybe you didn't see me. Thank you, Mr.
Surprised you
Mayor.
just didn't jump up and run out the door. It's like,
Mr. Mayor, trustees, Mrs. Steele, Attorney Egan, Dennis Smith with the BAD report. I would like to start off by first congratulating Deputy Mayor Krieger, trustees Hilton and Keys on their new terms. I will also thank trustee Queen. Not me. I didn't run.
I got him whether I want him back.
Well, I take that back. I want to congratulate all the new trustees. All the trustees on their new terms. But in addition, I'd like to thank trustee Queen for your years of service as village trustee. And I want personally, on behalf of the BID board, thank you for your diligent effort and hard work while you served on the board with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will start over with the New York Main Street grant. Finally, we're making some progress. Things are moving. Unfortunately, 6674, the jewelry and shoe store, we still have to wait because of the weather. We're hoping to maybe get started this week, but everybody's heard the forecast, it's probably going to snow tomorrow. Goldberg's is still in the process of being closed out. That's the bagel shop. Just waiting for the declaration to come back signed. As soon as that happens, the money will be released from Albany. That'll be our first completed project. 2 East Main Street budget buy and sell. The interior is just about wrapped up. It really looks great in there. It's just a vast improvement. We had that old antiquated look, and now everything looks modern. 200 East Main Street, which is Medi Health. They started about 2 weeks ago, 2 Saturdays ago, they started their interior renovation. That's probably going to be somewhere around 5-6 weeks. I'm going to work with A.B. Siegel and Mark from Blum's. We're not going to probably do the whole interior project as we originally had set out to do. We don't want to impede the summer business. This is a busy time for them. What we do want to do, though, is be able to keep them in the mix. So we're going to try and do the entrance ways and the front and the rear and improve those. 46 East Main Street is ready to go, has been ready to go. 178 East Main Street, the Mayor Austin Hagan, the lawyer's office, I'm going to set that up. They're gonna finish the outside work that they started several years ago with the shingles and the new look on the building. So the good news is we're making some progress, because we had a couple of months where really nothing was moving, and again, this thing expires in December, and the work has to be completed by the end of August, so we can wrap it up. So I'm happy to say and see that things are going. As far as the East Main Street sidewalk project, it's on target for late April. The escrow letters have to go out, we'll take care of that this week, but that's looking good. Suffolk County round grants, I've talked about those before. The applications will be out on April 14th. They're going to be emailed to municipalities. They're to be returned June 14th, so there's a 2-month turnaround on that. $20,000 is the minimum grant that's going to be considered. So anything that's put forth has to be at least $20,000. Of course, the more you match it, at first I thought it was going to be a dollar for dollar match. It's not. You get more points for the more leverage that you have on the, on the match itself. So, I just lost my whole place there. I'm not having a good night today.
You're doing great, then.
Thanks, Jerry. But again, the leverage, that's what I wanted to say. There's a 10% in-kind match on the leverage only. So you can't have a project and say, hey, we're gonna have DPW do 90% of it, and that's gonna be part of the leverage that we're looking forward to. That's gonna be limited at 10%. What else do we have? We're gonna start looking for quotes on security cameras in April. We're looking for a June start with that. 3 stations, that's gonna start that initiative. Our website, if you haven't checked it out, please check that out. We keep tweaking it. It keeps getting better. We've actually sold a little space on it. We've got a commercial realtor, Bridgehampton Bank, and Bay Harbor Insurance on it. We've got 3 more spots that we can sell. So check it out, it's looking good. And the last thing I want to do, moving forward, is congratulate our new board members on the BID board. At the last meeting, the BID board elected Harold Trayvall and Lori Belmonte to our board. So we're very happy to have them on and look forward to them serving with us. And that's, of course, because in the past couple of months, we've lost a few board members. Dave Knapp, Anthony Dempsey did resign, so we were running a little bit short. We wanted to get some new ideas and keep diversifying the board, and henceforth the new board members. All right, I haven't flipped through every paper. I think I'm done, unless there's any questions for me.
Because I'll forget to tell you tomorrow, but that Mark Alessi is going to be here on Wednesday for something else, 3 o'clock. You're right.
Then I'll make it a point to be here and see him then.
We'll look at some other issues with medical insurance, things like that,
Okay.
those savers.
Okay. Any other questions for me?
Dennis, why don't you say a little bit more about the security cameras?
Well, I know, I did talk about that in more detail, I guess it was two meetings ago, so I can do it again. We're looking to, the initiative is going to start with 3 stations. We're looking to incorporate the theater simply because they exist there. It would just involve putting a camera on the outside, PTV, panoramic tilt, and I forget what the Zoom.
It's a camera.
Zoom.
that
Oh, it's
can
state
cover
of the
a whole
art.
big geography.
We're looking to put one out there, hook it up with the kind of VCR unit, if you will, or receiver, that will be able to be tapped in by the police department or by village government or monitor from a mobile device. There's going to be one in the theater. We're looking to put one on 10 Ocean Avenue, Joe Furman's building, simply because.
Very quickly, have you spoken to TriTech? Because they mentioned to me that they would keep that camera.
Yeah, I've talked to,
I don't know, when you're talking about putting one at Joel's, I don't know whether,
Well, no, I haven't talked to them about that, but there was some talk at one time about making that, public camera.
there's a camera on the southeast corner
for the budget.
of Main and South Ocean Avenue that belongs to TriTech. At some point in time, they'll give it to us,
Right, just,
but not yet.
that's what I'm saying, and I don't know if that changes locations and things. Whether you make it part of your system or what.
Well, it could. It could, because, I mean, that would be looking at the same things that the camera on Joe's building would
That's
be looking at.
my point.
But the only problem I would have is I'd have to get a whole other station then to set it up with the unit to receive and to to record.
Don't talk to them.
Yeah, we'll see what, if they want to do that, that's fine.
Okay.
And then the other one, we're looking to put down on West Main Street in proximity to Barbecue, Brick House, right in there on a pole. It would have the same capabilities, would have to buy a unit, a receiver for that. The bid budget did set aside $10,000 this year to get started. I think we can get those 3 stations or 3 stations somewhere started for about that amount. Again, we're looking to go out in April and ask for quotes on the 3 stations once we establish what they're going to be. And it's in next year's budget, which starts on June 1st, so we want to get that initiative underway as quickly as we possibly can. Again, I've mentioned this in the past, Huntington Station has 42 of those cameras, and they're all hooked right into the 2nd precinct, and they love them. The 2nd precinct loves them, the BID in Huntington Station loves them. Crime in certain areas of Huntington Station doesn't happen because the cameras are there. And if we're not going to get you with this camera, we're going to get you with the one that's 2 blocks away. So it's really a deterrent, makes your village a lot safer, and it's something I'm anxious to get started. And as we go along, expound upon, build upon. And I think once we see the success of these cameras, it'll be easy to get the funding to increase the cameras that we have throughout the village and make it a safer place overall. Anything
I
else?
was just thinking like the traffic mass storms that are either at the intersections or at the crosswalks, instead of having them mounted on someone's private building, where you have a public piece of property that it would be mounted on instead of someone's private property.
They need to be wired into a DVR.
Well, that's the whole thing. The DVR has to be wired in, and that's got to be somebody's property. This is the village's property, is that all? Or is it Suffolk County? So I don't know if there's a ramification from that. I mean, we could look into it. It's not a good idea
I
because.
wasn't sure how complicated it would be to get the agreement from Joel Furman.
Big brother.
He's agreed already.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh,
And
He's actually agreed already simply because the equipment that he has in there was put in as a result of the Bogack grant. So he was amenable to us going in there and tapping it. And what I would do with him now, because he'll have 6 cameras at this point, is we would upgrade his DVR to accommodate 6 stations and use the 4 stations that he has and bring it out and put it elsewhere where we only have 2 to 4 cameras. So we have some economies of scale working there too.
Joel Furman is the biggest cheerleader on the bid for the security cameras.
Yeah, he readily agreed. But we can ask TriTech and see if that can come into play.
The access to it, use it. The other thought was just to make it online so anybody can go on at any time and kind of look what's happening on Main Street.
Right, the public cameras.
Yeah.
Kind of like Abbey Road in England. Everybody's walking across the then they go on their smartphones and see themselves. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Mr. Kennedy. Jerry.
Good evening, everyone. First, also, let me start by congratulating Trustee Keys, and I believe it's Trustee Hilton, if I'm not mistaken, on your new terms, and welcome to work forward with you. And I also want to give a huge thank you to Trustee Jerry Crean. Trustee Crean has served as the liaison to the chamber for most, if not all, of his tenure here on the village board, and very much appreciated, and just appreciate everything you've done, Jerry. Simply to say that the village is a better place because you're a trustee, and we thank you for everything you've done. Also, and let me follow with on the bid. I'm proud that to see Harold Traybold and Lori Belmonte both assume leadership positions on the board of the BID. Both are members of our board of directors of the chamber as well, and Lori runs our beautification committee. So no doubt we got 2 dedicated servants now working for the BID as well. Now let's talk about some of the upcoming chamber events, and of course, it's not really St. Patrick's is not over until the Irish of Patchogue say St. Patrick's is over. And with that in mind, our parade is coming up this Sunday on March the 30th, starting with the 5K race. The race will kick off at 12:20, followed by the parade, Despite what you're hearing for the weather for the next couple of days, it's going to be beautiful, sunny, and 50 come Saturday and Sunday. And it's going to be, we've got dozens of pipe bands, and it's going to be real good grand time and celebrate spring and put a conclusion to St. Patrick's Day. Everybody please come on down. Also want to remind everybody that tomorrow is the Chamber's general membership meeting, that Steve Ballone will be coming and doing our guest speaker and doing a presentation. So, please, I welcome you all to please come down and give Steve Ballone a good Patchogue welcome. Our beautification dinner is set and getting plans ready for the luncheon and dinner for April the 23rd at the Harbor Crab. Those tickets will be going out this week now that we've got one of our key members back from Japan. I know we'll be pushing that real soon. And also, we are all co-sponsoring a blood drive with the Patchogue Medford Library. That blood drive is going to be April the 3rd at the library, 2 to 6:30 p.m. So I encourage everybody, please, to come down and give blood and donate for a good cause. And on that same day, we actually have a new business that just joined this week, Sonoma Grill. Everybody probably knows Sonoma Grill. They were out in Holbrook, west of the Broadway and the mall over there. They've now relocated. They are now going to be at the Ramada Plaza Hotel at the corner of North Ocean and 112. The space that's currently called Bread and Butter will now be Sonoma Grill. And they're going to do a grand opening on April the 3rd at 5 to 7. And one of the owners, John, specifically made it my duty to make sure we got the mayor down there. And I explained the bill doesn't go that far up. He didn't care. He wanted Mayor Pontieri to please be there. So if you can make it, that would be very much appreciated. It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday. April 3rd.
Okay.
April 3rd, a week from this Thursday.
You said it.
Oh, you said?
I said it, sorry.
Under my name.
Yeah, everybody on the board, of course, is invited to please join us. Yep, thank you. And then we got a couple of special promotions that the Chamber's running through the board, Business Promotions Committee. First is from April 1 to right after Easter is our annual jelly bean contest. There's about almost 24 businesses that are going to have jelly beans in the store. And the way it works is that you do guess what's in that store. So you can actually go to each store and do a guess, because each store will give out a prize to the winner. And all the ones who are close, who win in the individual stores, gets put into a new raffle for a $100 prize as the grand prize. So a little extra fun while you're doing your shopping at Patchogue for the spring is to visit the stores and try to guess the jelly beans in the different locations. And that will be followed with our Mother's Day promotion on Mother's Day weekend. As we always do, anybody who makes a purchase at most of our stores will get a free flower for their garden. Again, thanks to the Business Promotions Committee. I do want to make, mention that the Chamber, working with the village and with our resident, Don Wasmuth, and one of our civic members, Jim Daytree, and our business member, Direct Drainage, we were successfully able to get the mural cleaned on the side of Bravo and have some of that taken off. That was done this past Friday, so I want to thank Trustee Ferb, who really pushed that, and Don Wasmuth from the village resident, one with Jim Dacher, our civic member, who kind of spearheaded that, had it removed, and I think that was nice to get it.
How it got cleaned, because I just noticed it today. I'm like,
Don probably could explain a lot better. I believe there's a solution that they were able to come up with.
Really amazing.
Like a real solution, an actual chemical.
Yeah. I went down there and I brought a bunch of stuff that I had from home, including muriatic acid, not knowing what I was going to be up against. None of it touched it. We got this, I forget the name of it, a silly name from Lowe's or Home Depot, specifically for graffiti. I'm going to buy a can and keep it with me in case I run across some. And it just took it right off. It did some damage, so there was repainting to be done. But at 20 miles an hour going down South Ocean Avenue, it looks beautiful.
is Segundo going to repaint where it needs to be? I didn't even notice, and I was.
No, we did some touch-up paint.
You
Painting.
touched it up already?
But what we want to do, and maybe I don't know who could support it, is put a anti-graffiti coating on it.
What is that close?
Well, I saw a price like $100 a gallon, $113 a gallon, and it could just roll on. It sounds pretty simple.
Once you get the price,
Well, yeah, I don't.
we could probably get donations from somebody.
Yeah, I don't know how it covers, I'll measure the mural. I'd be willing to put it on myself, but there's two types. One is sacrificial. What happens is you power wash the graffiti and the coating comes off with it, then you have to reapply it. But then there's a permanent one where you should be able to scrub the graffiti off. So I'm looking into that.
Let me know now, and I have somebody at the end go for a donation.
Okay.
Right, I also do want to mention, plans are really getting underway for our next annual pet parade for Saturday, May the 3rd. I know on the agenda there is some, we did present what we'd like the parade route to be, and I'll wait for the proper time to discuss that, but I do want to make mention that those plans are underway. And I'll just conclude as a segue into the second part that you see on your agenda. Our Live After 5 plans are also being put together. As you know, we've asked the village board to reconsider the time of the event. But before we actually get to that decision, I did want to let the village board hear from the organizer. We're lucky to have James Skidmore from the Brick House chair this event for us. And James has really got a ton of great ideas to really turn this more into a community celebration and kind of change what this event has been in the past, or had become in the past. So I'm just, without further ado, I'll bring up James Skidmore to take it over. But what I'm going to do is we have here, just pass around, just to give you a look at the new logos that have been designed for Live After 5 as well, just to show that we're really jazzing it up this year. James? Oh, sure.
Question. The pet parade is not just a pet parade, isn't it?
Yes, well, at the end of the parade, there will be a little bit of a fair.
Doesn't it have a purpose? I mean,
Oh, absolutely, yes, and I was going to segue into that, but I should mention that, and I appreciate that, Tom. It is co-sponsored the Suffolk County Coalition Against Domestic Violence. They're the ones who came up with the concept, and they've been working with the chamber. It's an awareness event. The money does go to that worthwhile organization. And, you know, domestic violence is domestic violence, and it happens in many forms, in many ways, and certainly having a pet parade is...
I mean, that's what the parade is about.
Absolutely.
It's not really about pets.
Absolutely. Now, I was using it more of a segue, but you're absolutely right about that, and I thank you, Tom.
Hello, folks. How are you?
Skidmore, how are you?
Good, thank you. For those who don't know me, my name is James Skidmore. I'm a longtime resident of Patchogue. I'm also part of the managers team at the Brick House Brewery, and I'm also the present chair for the Live After 5. I'd like to talk a little bit about what we got going on for the Live After 5, because we're really starting to change a little bit of the tone, and we'd like to sharpen the image of the event as well as sharpen the image of Patchogue. I have an incredible committee right now that's just, I can't say more enough. It's fantastic. We have about 25 people on the committee. Half of those people are in their 20s. Their first time being involved in the community because they see the worth of the event, and they want to invest their time with community. We've come up with some great ideas. We started with the logo design. We figured if we're going to change the whole tone of the event, we need to sharpen up the logos and everything else. So this is what we started with. This is a young company called Creative Collaborations, who are now new members of the Chamber of Commerce. Again, all in their 20s. This is their startup, and they've actually written us a proposal, and this is their first opportunity out as business people, and they're also involved with the Live After 5. Their enthusiasm is fantastic, and they've come up with some great ideas, and we're thinking about theming the events as well. Some of the ideas for the themes, we may not theme all of them, but we're thinking about theming some of them. Some of the things was a celebration of women in the arts, a celebration of ethnic diversity. We even thought of fun things, some masquerades, a little bit of reggae as well, something that we can all join in this community, a little dancing in the streets, and some good times. What's nice also with our new community is that they really want to be involved with the future of the community. And the fact that we can hand over this committee to a bunch of young people that are enthusiastic about the future of this community, to me is a magnificent situation. And I'm very happy to be a part of it. For those who have shunned the event in the past, this year I want you to be there and see some of the changes. It may be a little bit subtle this year, and we're not going to take massive steps, but I see this event in the next 4 or 5 years to be something that we're going to attract quite a few people into our community to share with the arts and walk away with a cultural experience from Patchogue. So we kind of want the event to mirror all the happenings that are going on in the village of Patchogue. I think it's a worthy situation. And I just want to give you a little idea of who's involved right now. Also, most of the people that have joined the committee are artists, are musicians. I spoke to Timothy Miller this afternoon. He's a blacksmith. He sent some of the repairs on the Lakeview Cemetery. I think he did some of the work at the public house in the past too. He would like to gather maybe 5 of the best regional blacksmith artists to do a demonstration on the street. And at the end of these 4 events, he'd like to hand over that artwork to the village as a gift. And now this is just one idea, and there's so many of them. If anyone has been fortunate enough to go to some of the European events, it's a mixture of a cultural experience as well as somewhat of a circus atmosphere. I'd like to bring this to Alive After 5. Instead of talking about the Alive After 5 as something of the past, I'd like you to see what we can do for the future of the event and for the community. Since I'm also one of the managers over the Brick House, I'd also like to mention something about the extra half hour. It's very important, that extra half hour, because we actually invest a lot of money, a lot of time for the event. And if we don't get something that's financially feasible, it's hard for us to support the event. And we want to support the event. We want to be part of the community. We want to build community through commerce. And there's no question that the Brick House does quite a bit, but so does everybody else that's on Main Street. And we'd really appreciate if you could extend us that courtesy to allow us to prove ourselves. We weren't given that courtesy when it moved to Thursday night. We were told, all I wanted was to do the same thing that was allowed on Friday to be done on Thursday. We weren't given that opportunity. Please allow us that opportunity, and I hope that you enjoy the changes. It's going to be a fantastic situation, and I hope that you join us this year. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Jerry, on your agenda, this was part of it as well. Jimmy, you want to,
We wanted to see if we could,
first of all, does anybody have any questions for Jimmy? Thank you very much, and I like it.
Thank you. It's my spaghetti time.
That's why I was wondering. If you have questions for
So the extension means that the music stops at 9:15, correct? No later than 9:15?
Well, we haven't worked on any of the details, but yes, we would close. But we really, the idea is if we had that half an hour to actually to serve alcohol.
Yeah, my concern is the music. Is it going to stop at 9:15?
We can stop it at 9:15 if that's what's going to extend us a half hour to sell some alcohol, to make it financially feasible. Now, I know this half hour thing doesn't seem like a lot, but it absolutely is a lot. We have a very small avenue to make some money. This isn't the Friday night fiasco that was going on a few years ago. People are going home at 10 o'clock, they're not emptying out into the streets. So yes, we can stop the music at 9:15.
I appreciate you coming down, Jim. When we had the restaurant committee meeting at the Harbor Crab, it was your ideas that really spurred me to resurrect the conversation and bring it back to the mayor and the board to just see if there's a way to make a compromise here, to make it feasible and doable for everybody. You know, I still have concerns about security and things like that, but the chamber does make a huge investment in staffing the event, and I'm very excited about what this event will be, like you said, in the future. We know what it's done for the community in the past. It's created a very festive, recreational downtown, and it's become part of our identity as a community. So I, for one, would like to see the event continue to transform itself into a more family-oriented event, and I think getting the arts involved is a huge step in that direction. It's, we're becoming a much more artistic community, and it'd be great to have a thematic event where it's a few years ago, well, many years ago now, we had an art gallery show on Main Street. I'd love to see something like that again, and maybe have it be part of Alive After 5. So it's just not restaurants and bars that are participating, but the local artisans of our community. Tim Miller is a great guy, I know him
artist. He also just purchased a house here right in the village, so he's very excited to be part of the community. There's a lot of other ideas too that, and actually while we have the event, we can actually beautify the community as well. There's a lot of vacant, the alleyways that they're just completely white. We were thinking that maybe we could serve maybe a square footage of each and to have them paint a little bit, and then we can have a grand tapestry as well. Something that's interactive for the children as well as the adults. There's many ideas, and of course there's a lot of logistics we have to work out and see what works and what not. But this is the type of tone that we have in every meeting. And if you want to see something enthusiastic, you want to see something fun, come down to one of the meetings and see what goes on. The energy is great. I leave there feeling refreshed and just invigorated. And I think we can do quite a bit with this event. And I think this is the event that we can actually attract a lot of people from outside of other communities. And this could be the shining star of what we do. And then we may be able to have a hotel because people are going to want to stay for the event. We have so many things to offer. Let's use something that we already have, something that has a great foundation. Let's build upon it, and let's make it work for our community.
The comments by the board.
I love the new logos.
Thank you.
And you said the logos were designed by people who are on?
On the committee, and also on top of it became members of the Chamber of Commerce.
That's great.
And there are 3 people, and all of them are about 25 years old. So this is their first business venture. And they live in the community as well. They live here in Patchogue. They want to be a part of the future, and I think it's a great opportunity for them. It's a great opportunity for us.
Well, it looks very nice.
Thank you.
I like the ideas as far as changing, and I think it started last year, changing the vibe a bit.
Oh,
Just by
absolutely.
changing it to Thursday night. So I can understand, I wasn't here for the first vote, but I can understand the need to at least have the music till 9:15, just a little bit of extra time. And I would say that if we go to 9:30, if the rest of the board would like to approve that we can always step back if there's an incident or some reason to feel after the first or second that it's not working.
Absolutely, and we just would like to have that opportunity. And I think if we can prove ourselves in the first one, we can revisit that later. I mean, if we find it's not something that works out. And then we're here to still make the event work for the community as well.
Well, with the new attitude that I'm feeling from everybody, I don't have an objection to extending the music to 9:15, having everything off the street at 9:30.
Thank you.
Any other comment by the board, Chair?
I think it's a good compromise, Mr. Mayor, and, it's something that I'm sure will be successful. Just, we all are concerned about the safety of the community, number one. We're all on the same page. You are, we are, we're all pulling the oars in the same direction on that. But the initial request of 10 o'clock, I think, was a little bit much for everybody to agree upon, but I think a 9:30 time is a good compromise. So, I'd like to put that in the form of a motion, Mr. Mayor, where the music would end at 9:15 and their service would end at 9:30.
Motion, trustee Green, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your work.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Make sure I catch you offline. You know about the Stodinger Arch?
I'm sorry?
The Stodinger Arch?
No.
Something blacksmiths do.
Okay. Well, maybe that's something I can learn about at the event.
Education committee.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Deputy Mayor Creed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to be brief with a theater report tonight. It looks like the roof is nearly done. I was out there last week taking a look at it, and it's really a beautiful roof. And from what I understand, that the contractors there did a great job, and were very cooperative with the theater. A lot going on at the theater these days, and they were very cooperative, so it worked out well. Looks nice. We will no longer have rain dripping down on people. And now Now, other things can get done in the theater, like some repair to ceiling tiles, some repainting and things like that, once we got the roof done. So thanks to the board and the mayor, we got a new roof on the theater, and take a look at it. Thank you, Linda, for your story on that too, that was great.
Are they starting out doing seats? Is that-
Yeah, well, they've been looking at seats. So I asked the theater board to put together a presentation on what seats they recommend. So there was a number of them. I actually sat in one. There was one in the lobby, and they're very comfortable with modern seats. If you go to the theater and sit in some rows, some of the seats are a bit wobbly and getting a little worn out. They're very, very old. So,
Someone's got stabbed in the spring.
so sorry. So sorry. But that being said, we did have a wonderful, wonderful day at Patchogue Theater on Saturday, which was the 5th annual folk festival. Anybody there?
Yeah.
During the day.
Yeah. I wasn't there during the day, but I understand a very successful day, really good. And I was there at night and saw part of the show on Saturday night. A lot of very happy people there. And Suzanne Vega did a great job, and I unfortunately missed Amy Helm, but I understand that she was
I
just,
think she stole the show.
she stole the show.
Yeah, she was great.
Is what I heard. So again, thanks to Chris Catabianco and the people at the Patchogue Theater for putting on another folk festival and making a good time for all. And it really was a good crowd there, and we really enjoyed it. And a lot more coming up at the theater. Wednesday night, another JVC show, country show. It's the JVC mashup. So some tickets are still available, but if you're interested in going, I would certainly get my tickets sooner rather than later, because they will go fast.
Headlined by the winner of last year's Voice.
That's right, winner of last year's Voice. Thank you, Patty. I can't let you through all that. I know you watched that. So that's it with the Patchogue Theater. Thank you. A little bit about parking meters. Our revenue last week, well actually the week before, we're a week behind, was a little over $3,200. So that's about $500 more than what we've been averaging, if not more. And we take into account, a lot of things. The weather's been better, and if people's, what's that?
People sort of figure them out.
People are figuring them out, and I think the presence of our code enforcement officers on the street give people the correct idea that if they don't put money in the meter, they will get a ticket. But we're finding that most people are cooperating and putting money in, and we are giving out tickets. So if anybody asks you if they have to put money in the meter, please do them a favor and tell them yes.
Except Sunday, right?
What's that? Except Sunday.
Right, and you're
Except Sunday, yes.
telling people. And I put money in for customers.
That's good for you. That's good.
50 cents.
But I'm serious, that is good. I mean, you
Yeah.
do good business over there, Mark, and that's very smart of you. Good job. And we've had some issues with signs on the parking meters. We're in the process of changing things out and moving things around. And David, just to let you know that the signs are all up in the lot behind 89 North. That was done this morning.
Paradise Law.
Thank you.
As Joe calls it, the Paradise Lot. Because of the Paradise Luncheon that they used to be there, so. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have I spoke to Jim Burbridge, Dave, and he'll have our public safety officers there tomorrow morning. So when people from Tri-Tech go to park there, they'll tell them that, they're not supposed to park there, so we're just not sitting there waiting for, the parking and run and give people tickets.
Thank
So,
you.
hopefully, and that, they'll be doing that probably for most of the week until these guys get an idea that they're supposed to be parking over behind the parking village.
Thank you.
All right. So, and if there's anybody has issues with the meters and customers who are coming in saying the signs aren't correct or whatever, please let us know. Call, email, most of you people, you have my email address. Dennis, you certainly have my email address.
I have your telephone,
What's that?
I have your telephone number.
Yeah, my telephone number, so if there are issues out there and you see them, please let us know, because the last thing we want are people getting tickets. We're not out there to give people tickets, we're out there just to make sure that people are using the meters. That's all I have, but finally, Jerry, I'm gonna wish you good luck and thank you so much for your service. It's been great, it's been fun. It's been 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah, no, I'm the old man on the trustee, except for you. But thanks again, Jerry, I look forward to seeing you at church
You got
in town.
You got it.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Keys.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow board members, ladies and gentlemen. I too would like to acknowledge and thank Jerry Green for 10 years of service here to the village. I know Jerry to be a very dedicated family man. I'm sure that there's time that he spent with us when he'd rather be spending with them. But Jerry, thank you as a village resident and as a fellow board member. DPW, we're actually, in the process of getting some price quotes on paving. We're hoping the weather ever breaks to hit the roads, hopefully more than we've ever done in the last several years. There's something that have to be done, and we're aware of that, obviously, and so we're on top of it and trying to get some price quotes to hopefully get a quick repair on it. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, I'm just requesting approval to go out the bid for the decommissioning of the South Ocean Avenue pump station. We've talked about that before, it's being reviewed.
We're under a consent order to do that.
Yeah.
The pump station, when I came into office in 2004, there was a letter sitting on the desk from both the DEC and some kind of board of health saying that it must be done. If you take a look at the price, it would cost like almost $2.5 million to do for the post office. This one here, we're decommissioning it and running a line, driving the arrow to
It's a lot
the
less
US baseline.
complicated, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll probably save us about $1.5 million to do it that way. We take one piece of mechanical equipment out of it.
That's what we're worried about, right?
Get it. So motion to, by trustee Keys, to decommission the South Ocean pump station.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So
Thank
thank
you, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Trustee Green.
Just a couple of quick items, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate everybody's well wishes. I'm still around, I'm not going anywhere, be involved in the community in different ways, and I'm looking forward to, I guess, the next chapter in my
Having
life.
Monday nights for
Yeah, Monday nights free. But I want to wish Joe and Billy well, and obviously Sal. He's been involved in the community a long, long time, and I'm sure he'll serve this board well. So I wish him all the best. And Patty obviously is very competent. I'm sure she'll do a great job on the bench. So just a couple of quick items. There's a request for the pet parades route to be formalized, and looking to, it's I guess the second annual event where they're going to go down West Main Street to Railroad Avenue, down to Church Street, and then circle back to Main, up South Ocean Avenue, and go back to the Congregational Church. So it's a great event. And we're seeking approval in the form of a motion, Mr. Mayor. That's for May 3rd from 9:30 to 10:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Can I make just one thing that when I looked at the letter I sent you, I forgot. Because we do utilize the parking lot for a little gathering after they do the award ceremony. I would assume that probably needs, because it is a village parking lot.
Which one are you talking about?
The same lot we use like behind the Congregational Church.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be from like 11 to 2 would be the hours that would be utilizing it.
You need the whole lot closed off at that point in time?
For at least half the, we took about half that lot, like just the section behind the church, that half of the lot. So I don't know if that could be added to that resolution.
You have a conflict between the church and the temple.
Well-
On a Saturday morning.
You said the whole services at the temple. so
Is there any dance recital that morning, or?
It's kind of early, but check the theater schedule. I think that's early in the season.
Yeah.
They usually don't start.
Joe, you can have to check with, so Ryan is out early with cones and blocks that thing off early in the day.
When was the last parade, David?
It was September 12th. I mean, I have with me here Wendy Linzolata. Wendy is administrator for the Suffolk County Coalition for Domestic Violence, so she could even answer any questions better than I can.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact date, it was in September though.
Yeah, but it wasn't the fall.
September 21st.
Thank you.
What's that? I have a folder. That's where it ends.
And then, lastly, I guess, Mr. Mayor, we're looking to have a street closure for the St. Liberata Festival for Saturday, September 27th, with a rain date of October 4th, from 12 to 5. And that's from Maple to West Avenue and from Oak Street to Church Street. So it's always a great event. Looking to, it's the 27th, right? September 27th, that's a call motion.
Motion is presented, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Do we approve the pet parade? Do we know?
Yes.
And that's all I have to say.
Please, on check. Trustee Burke.
Mr. Mayor, fellow trustees, first of all, the housing at patchoguevillage.org, an email address where residents can send concerns about housing is live, and I want to thank Linda and the Advance for the great coverage of the concept this week. And I'm going to be, periodically I like to give some statistics on what our building department is up to. So I'm going to give a very brief report on what's happened between, really the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year. We've got 3 months left. Okay, we've got March, April, and May. June we start a new fiscal year. So it's from July 1st, 2013 to February 28th, 2014. They issued 334 summonses. They issued 332 building permits. They issued 57 Superstorm Sandy special permits. There were 101 plumbing permits, 148 demolition permits, 500 rental permits, 914 notices of violation. That's those, slapping people's hands for doing things that diminish the quality of our community. 356 complaints received from residents. That's going to go way up now that we have this housing email address. And 20 illegal dwellings have been investigated. So that's all I have. Any questions about that?
Well, I think that the other piece of information that was mentioned tonight, we received a check, the first check on the pilot, payment in lieu of parking, $19,000 from the business opening up. And those monies that were into a special account being used for the acquisition of properties. There's something on South Ocean Avenue opening up.
It's,
The restaurant?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
But so we received a check on that, which,
That's great.
I don't know if some months back, right, we passed legislation that required new restaurants to pay for parking that's associated with their facilities in excess of the allowable some
Retail.
number.
The retail number.
So we got our first check. We got $19,000.
So it's a good way to start.
Yeah.
And the other thing you didn't mention, Tony, that, see, you're still,
It took me 30 hours to get back here.
actually, 2 other things. Number one, I think we received a check from, not a great amount, but $7,000 from rental permits from Tri-Tech for they're available, so they're paying rentals and fees also. So there's $7,000, and that'll be an ongoing revenue source for the every other year. So, yeah. And last thing, Tom, is that one of the houses that you reported in your last email, we've contacted the county that the property's over-occupied, and the people in that home are getting a subsidy from the county, so the county will turn off the spigot to the money until they straighten out the house and the landlord straightens out the home. The landlord will not be receiving his rent check from the county. And so the letter and then complaints that you got are being taken care of.
Thank you.
I'd love giving you a report, Tom.
Good, I appreciate it.
Trustee Devlin.
Good evening, everybody. My report is fairly short tonight as well, unless you have anything to fill in. What do I have to report on? I had an excellent time at the Suzanne Vega concert. It was really great. And I love my weekends in Patchogue because then on Sunday, I got to see 2 films at Plaza Mac because now they're alternating films. So on any given day, there's 2 films. So I saw Tim's Vermeer. Have you heard of that? Well, it's about art, but it's about science, and I'd highly recommend it. It's playing through the end of this week. And then the other movie is called Shoot Me, and it's a documentary about Elaine Stritch. And they're both only 80 minutes long, so if you have time during the day, you could go to a matinee and see both, which is what I did with my mom yesterday.
Did you hide in the ladies' room so you didn't have to pay for the
No, we didn't. We went through You know, my husband
Something
works
from
there.
your youth?
Yeah. Well, maybe not in my past.
If we go together.
Nice. Can I come?
So, and there's an excellent show up at Art Space right now for 2 weeks. It's a photography show. And it's, you know, sometimes I think people tend to think, oh, photography, because it's different than painting. And you don't realize how different one photographer's vision can be from another or their techniques. But when you go to the show, that's something that really impressed me. Where there's such a wide variety of approaches that artists take with the photography medium. So I think it's only running 2 weeks, so it's probably up through, you know, this weekend and.
Well, I'm gonna give you a task that you talked about photography. Village Port Jefferson had they had a presentation of photos that they blew up and that they had received from the Historical Society, plus other people up in Port Jefferson, that we're going to be getting those.
Oh, we are?
And I'd like you to speak to Art Space
Absolutely.
and
Yeah, I'll
the
talk
Arts
to Dave.
Council to see whether we can get a couple of,
Get some of them in some spaces.
well,
Yeah,
whether we
or
could
in
use their
gallery. Yeah.
if we could do that as a presentation in their gallery, and if need be, spread it into yours
Yeah, sure. Let me
at some
talk to
point during the
everybody.
course of the summer.
Yeah, if you know when, as
Yeah,
they
well-
start to schedule out the
Well,
shows.
let's schedule it in for sometime in August into September
Okay.
possibly. You know, a time when people can still get out and walk around town
That'd be
on
great.
the weekends. But because I'd like to bring that to town, and even then, at some point in time, move it into maybe some of the restaurants and
That's
stuff.
what I was gonna say, it would be nice to move them around the town and have them in some different locations.
I'd like to have all in one place, because
First.
it's so impressive. And
Yeah.
I think that probably your space.
I think
would-
art space would, that space would be fine.
Yeah, I think that would probably hold it all.
Yeah, yeah, and they don't plan that far ahead, not as far ahead as the
Yeah,
arts.
but if you could
council.
talk to Dave Rogers.
Yeah, I'll talk to Dave, because he's heading it up. So, but that's all I have for tonight. I just wanted to thank Jerry again for all his hard work and creative approaches to things. And I was just thinking today, you know, back to when I first started, and this was before the town of Brookhaven and the Parks Department had a parks cleanup. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So I decided to organize a parks cleanup, and only one person showed up, and it was Jerry. And Jerry and I went from the beach club all the way through
I remember
Shorefront
that.
Park, and we did the whole thing, and we had bags and bags
Yeah.
and bags of trash, and
That was fun.
that's the memory that I wanted to share, but I really do appreciate everything.
You're quite welcome, yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees, Patty, guests. First of all, David said, this Sunday is the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And I hope you all attend, so maybe we can put this whole damn thing to bed.
Will I have to take my shower?
Okay.
Well, it's a storm, so And we also are continuing to look for volunteers, as David mentioned, for the 5K and also the parade lineup, Don, right? And so it should be a great parade. I know the sun's gonna be out, it's gonna be 60 degrees, and we'll have a great time.
That's important.
And there's an ale festival afterwards, Dave?
There's a stout contest afterwards. Anybody who runs in the race will get a free ticket for it. I believe people could purchase a ticket for it. I think they have 4 or 5 local stouts. You won't know what you drink until after they announce the winner. So it's like a blind tasting. You try each one. You pick one's the favorite, and then they will crown the stout king of
You only get to
craft
taste
brewing.
once? Can't go back and
I'm sure they'll let you go back a second or third time, but I think you'll get vote once.
You want to taste it fifth with your off line?
I think there's some soda bread left over from a couple weeks ago. Green.
There are a couple of stouts that'll taste good, I'm sure.
Right. Actually, Mr. Mayor, I have a request for approval from Manhattan Sporting Club that I would like not to present at this time.
It's
Extremely complicated.
very quickly, this is the same one that they've done every year. It's just, this is, believe it or not, I don't know what, so I asked Nadia about, it's Nadia and her group,
Right.
of course, putting this together. It's the one where, it's the Festival of St. James. At the same time, Wallace said, they're doing 12 o'clock mass there. And then when the mass ends, they walk the statue down. It's no alcohol involved in it. It is just, it really is a family festival. Yeah, it's a good time they've done it.
Right, they're asking for a mobile stage,
No, we don't have a mobile stage.
okay, and they're asking for some road closures.
The only road closure is Academy Street.
I have no problem, I just wanted to talk a little about it.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, it's very similar to what we've done over the years. How about an approval pending your review of that? So at least it's off the table. We've got 3 weeks to our next one.
Until the 27th. 3 weeks.
So next
To our next meeting.
Yes.
Let's just do
All right, let's do that. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the date of the event and with further
Pending your review and report back to the board.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And Jack, you forgot to say something about the birds for 3 weeks.
Oh,
At the theater on the 6th.
what is it?
It's Bernstein. Leonard Bernstein?
No,
Oh,
that's,
Oh, the Atlantic
Atlantic
Wind
Symphony.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yes.
All right.
is that
That's all I have to
is
do.
that Sunday afternoon?
That's a
Yes.
Sunday afternoon, yes.
That's great.
Salute to Leonard Bernstein.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone in the afternoon for the Atlantic Wind on Sunday, it really is pretty.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you want to hear how acoustically fine the Patchogue Theater is, visit during the Atlantic Wind Symphony.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
And Jerry, we've been on a lot of committees together. It's always been very productive. Always said you're the voice of the people. And done a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Been fun.
Okay, any other comments by the board? Council?
I would add that my 2 cents to the same thing on Trustee Creed. I wish you well in the future. I think the board benefited greatly from your valuable financial advice on the bonding every time we went to you as to what the amounts were and the budget issues. So thank you for your service to the village of Patchogue. It was a pleasure being up here with you.
And not to be left out,
Yeah.
I echo everybody's sentiments. Thanks, it was a pleasure
Mine as
working
well,
with
Jerry.
you. And lots of luck in the future.
Public to be heard. Ms. Miller?
Josephine Miller, 276 West Avenue. First, I want to congratulate Trustee Keys and Trustee Hilton on the well-deserved victory. I want to say thank you to Trustee Green for a job well done. And I want to comment about Mr. Skidmore's terrific ideas. If we incorporate art into Alive After 5, we're appealing to a broader range of visitors. We're diminishing the focus on drinking, We're enhancing our reputation as an art center. And further, we might even consider having some, I'm an old fuddy-duddy, some variety on the music. There are a number of choral groups around. They've performed, Tom, you know who I'm talking about, at our garden tours, and they do some lively performances, and I think they would really enjoy the opportunity to come to a Live After 5 and perform, and I think the community would enjoy them. And I agree, we would change the tone, the whole nature of the Live After 5, and I support that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Dennis?
Dennis from 13th Main Street. Sorry, thank you, Mr. Green, for all your help on the board.
You're welcome,
It's a
Dennis.
pleasure to be here. Couple quick things. The cameras can't be mounted on poles. They have to go over a flat surface for the wind. They don't see a lever. It's like, the lever to mount on a pole.
There's a camera mounted on the pole at South Ocean.
But that's what, he was asking why it couldn't be mounted on the arm. It was-
Oh, okay.
It's a big, weather factor is a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never be able to see what you're seeing.
It's like this.
Yeah.
It's-
It's- The app's not working still for the parking meters.
Just got a bill for it.
It might be working on your end very well, I know. Mine. When you pay the $5 after 6 p.m., it only gives you till midnight, even though you paid for the duration of the evening.
Really? On just the app?
Just the app, if you do it through the app,
I'll check it out, I'll call him tomorrow.
okay? You have a couple of the village guys said they thought it worked out. As of yesterday, it still is not working correctly. Where does the 15% on that app fee go to? To the app maker, or?
Which 15%?
They charge 15% to use the app.
That is for the person, Park Mobile Company.
So so the village gets their full benefit?
Yes.
Okay. And just want to say on the record, Mr. Sergeant Love, for the things that he's done in the back parking lot, he's helped out my wife in a few instances, and, he was involved in altercation a few weeks ago because of parking, but he's done a great job back there. And that was all. Once again, Mr. King, thank you for all your
You're quite welcome.
And comments from the public? Motion to adjourn. Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.